for their.
All right, I'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, go ahead and take a motion to approve the agenda.
I would actually make a motion to amend the agenda. The amendment being item number F under action items should read SAT and ACT participation waiver.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0.
Do we need a motion to approve the amended
Yep,
agenda
so,
now? Okay.
Yep.
So I would make a motion now to approve the amended agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0. This is our board organization meeting. So at this time, we will call for nominations for election of board officers. We have 4 officers, the chairman, vice chairman, and our treasurer and our board clerk. So at this time, nominations are open.
I nominate Kirk to be the board chair because I don't want to do it.
I'll second that.
Here's a question, do we have to do these, is there any more nominations for board chair? I guess we just do them one at a time, or do we do them together? Or
Just one at a time.
One at a time,
One at a
I
time?
think.
I would accept that nomination. Is there any discussion? I guess for me, from my standpoint, I've just enjoyed doing this the last year, and I'll just continue to work to the board, so. With that. I guess
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote. We might as well do what shall we do, a roll call vote since we're.
I think you just call for the vote.
Call for a vote? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Carries 4-0 for chairperson. So now nominations would be open for the vice chair.
I make a motion that Alicia McConkey be the vice chairman.
I'll second that.
Any discussion or?
I'll accept it unless someone else wants to do it.
In that case, I'll call for the votes. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0. For treasurer, do we vote on you?
You have to nominate and appoint.
So then we nominate and appoint, or we just
Or
nominate?
you can just appoint someone outside of the board to be the treasurer if that's what you want to continue.
Yeah, I think, so traditionally we've had Cheryl be our treasurer, which if anybody's wants to discuss it or nominate somebody on the board, or if we want to go ahead and just make a motion that we appoint Cheryl to be our treasurer, we could do that.
I'll make a motion to appoint Cheryl as our treasurer.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? None of that, we'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0. And I guess we would take a motion to retain our board clerk.
I'll make a motion to keep Gina as our board clerk.
I'll second.
Any discussion? We'll go ahead and vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Once again, passes 4-0. Thank you, Gina, for being here.
You're welcome.
The next item is for the signature of the Code of Ethics. We would ask that each board member sign these. We'd signed them last year, or at the time we became board members. So I think we'll get one to Jake, and we'll get one to Derek as well. I know that 3 of us have signed ours, so I think the next item will be to set the meeting schedule for the next year. It's attached, so it's the second Monday of each month. I don't think there was any exceptions to that.
There weren't.
So to take a motion to accept the time, date, and schedule as listed.
I'll make a motion to accept the time, date, and place as presented the second Monday of each month at 6 p.m. at the district office.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 4-0. That would move us into the consent agenda. If anybody had any discussion, or we would accept a motion to accept this month's consent agenda.
I make a motion to accept this month's consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Now for the next section, discussion items, number 6 on the agenda. I had discussed it going forward. I think each month we'll, right after the consent agenda, share some type of good news from the school district. There's so much going on. And so for the people out there, if there's people want to turn things in for a teacher, a student, a group, to share with us, to get on the record, really some of the great things that are going on. And for this month, I'll go ahead and share what was brought to my attention over this holidays time period, and we're at home. So it was shared to me that Mill Creek, their canned food drive brought in over 5,400 pounds of non-perishable goods. That all goes out to our community here in Middleton. And more importantly, I guess the staff, students, families at Mill Creek put together presents for 13 families in the school district, all coming together to distribute back out to our school district. And that's our community, and that's what we do in so many different places. And I want to say thank you to everybody out in Mill Creek that contributed. I have no doubt that our other schools have maybe done something else. That one came to my mind. And 13 families was significant. So I want to just say thank you to everybody at Mill Creek on, how they came together and support that. I think that's the highest number of families they've helped since we've been doing it.
Wow.
So, and I would just ask as we go forward, just look at these. There could be success of our students. Once we open up and have meetings again, have students come in and share their projects or whatever. And I just think it's important that we be reminded of our community and what's going on and the successes. So once again, thank you to Mill Creek for providing for those families. The next discussion point was, and I brought it up at the last meeting, is this continuous improvement plan. It's attached on Assembly. It's also attached to our school district's website. And as we go forward, we're going to want to break out through the year to hear back on it. And we'll work with Kristen and Lisa and administrators on what sections would make sense of what time of year to hear back because of testing. So for the public out there, it's attached assembly, but it's also at our on our website. But the key to this is we look at it derives from Idaho State Code 33-320 for those that would want to look it up. But each school district in Idaho shall develop an annual plan that is part of a continuous focus on improving the student performance of the district. The Board of Trustees and the superintendent shall collaborate on the plan and engage students, parents, educators, and the community as appropriate. The annual continuous improvement plan shall be data-driven, specifically in student outcomes, and shall include, but not limited to, the analysis of demographic data, student achievement, and growth data, graduation rates, and college and career readiness. Set clear and measurable targets based on student outcome, include a clearly developed and articulated vision and mission statement, and include key indicators for monitoring performance, and include a report of progress towards the previous year's improvement goals. That's not a state statute. And I know people have seen different parts of this, and I know people have seen our daily goal of every child learning every day. The mission is stated in this is Middleton School District mission is to provide an exceptional education for all students in a safe and supportive environment. Our vision to create exceptional educational experiences which inspire our students to communicate effectively and to think critically and creatively in a collaborative environment toward the goal of becoming lifelong learners and contributing citizens. We list out several daily goals. And in the last page, I'm just going to review today. We talked about the objectives. There's 5 objectives there. It's on page 3. And there's a district message. And after that message is the 5 school board trustees listed. So this is a document that's ours, it's the school districts, and it's the communities. And it's really our report card on what we need to know how we're keeping score. And the message is, putting in place a system that ensures every child learning every day. The most important relationship in a school district is between the student and the teacher. Key components of the implementation of a successful continuous improvement plan, including having curriculum and instruction that is relevant, rigorous, and engaging. Professional development to support teacher excellence. Data that is timely to help identify student strengths and weaknesses, and to adjust instruction as appropriate in a safer environment for all of our students to survive. There's more of those first 3 pages, but I just think it's important as we go forward to dive into this, to understand it, to share with our community, once again, to see the successes that we're having, once again, to understand where we want to spend on curriculum, on staffing, how to support our teachers, to know that they're the focus of the interchange with our students. And as this document becomes more familiar to us and the community, I think we benefit when we start to understand what our educational professionals are doing, because it's not what I went to college for. It's not the language that I learned. And to be a better partner with our schools, I think it's important that we dive into this plan, stay current on it, and then get a little snippet of reports each month. Not enough to bury us, but enough to be current and for our community to see it and understand what we're trying to do here at the school district. Our next discussion item, if anybody had any questions, I'd take them, but I think you guys are tired of hearing me talk. Discussion item is the superintendent position school year for 2021, 2022. I'll let you go ahead and lead that, Alicia, if you want.
Okay, well, I guess to preface this, We are so fortunate and lucky to have been able to have Kristen Beck with us this year to step up, and we have, under her direction, accomplished more in the last few months than I think we've accomplished in the last 2 years. So we are extremely grateful for her and her leadership and for the direction that she's given the district over the last few months, especially with COVID. And we look forward to continuing working with her in different capacities. That being said, she did just temporarily fill our superintendent position. So moving forward, there's a couple options as far as looking for a new superintendent. The Idaho School Board Association offers that service. We used it before last year. The cost underneath in Assembly, if you click on under the action item, there's an attachment that has the flyer from the Idaho School Board Association. And the cost, if we did a total search through them, is $8,500. If I called MSD from the ISBA, and she's the one who really heads up these superintendent searches, and I talked with her. Some of it is reimbursable from the state. We have $1,700 left that can be reimbursed. So her recommendation to me, if we choose to go with ISBA to help us in this process, was that we do commit to doing maybe the first half. So that if we just do the first 4 steps, which would be set up all our search timelines, determine our key qualifications, advertise the opening and recruit candidates, and review applications. If we got to that point with the ISBA, that cost is $3,500, but then we can apply that $1,700 credit to that cost. And then at that point, depending on how comfortable we are moving forward, we can continue using ISBA, or we can say, we're good, we've got it, we can do it on our own and still reach out to them for support and questions and things that we have. She also did mention that the ISBA has teamed up or partnered with another system that helps advertise better to reach more different people. They do anticipate a big turnover in leadership this year. I feel like we're in a better spot than we have been in the past. We're early, it's January. Financially, from the work that we've done all this year, we have our levy in place now. We've got policies are getting cleaned up. We just have a better face to put forward, I think. And so that's kind of what ISBA has to offer. We could also not use ISBA at all and just post it ourselves and try and work through it alone. But that's just kind of the information that I had from ISBA. So if you guys have any questions about that, or we'll vote on it later, but.
You guys have done it before, so.
We used the ISBA and they helped us through the whole process last time.
So,
And it was beneficial.
Oh, yeah.
oh,
Yeah, I
It's-
would think it would be.
So nice.
yeah, they're able to professionally help us flesh out what we're looking for, the timeframes, and then go ahead and advertise. So we don't have to deal with any advertising and posting for the position. Then they gather those applicants together, pre-screen them to make sure they're all qualified. And then at that point in time, we could say, okay, we could call for more, we could take it in-house. And I think it's something we'd be comfortable with that step for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then make a call on with the number of candidates and what we had.
So she feels like because of the turnover that.
She feels like there's already openings. Like, I don't know if you saw the news, West Ada's superintendent resigned. I know Oneida's looking for one. I think there was a couple other bigger ones that are looking. I think Burley had a posted.
Idaho Falls.
Isn't
Burley.
Pat
Oh, yeah.
retired too? Yeah.
Yeah, so there's definitely movement across the state and from outside of the state. So I think if we just start early and just see, how it goes. And the other thing, because there are so many turnover, the ISB, I think, will be probably busy doing quite a few of them, not all of them. But I think if we can get our timeline put in place, it's going to help us narrow and maybe get more of the cream of the crop if we can get those dates set ahead of time and kind of say, okay, we're drawing the line here and not wait for everyone else to take positions and then say, okay,
Yeah.
what's left? So I think deciding early would be in our best interest and getting those timelines set. And they also help with the legal part, like especially in executive executive sessions during discussions, making sure that we stay on topic and then we don't discuss anything that should be talked in open, that we're not making decisions in executive session that should be making open, and never having gone through that process before, I didn't realize that. So that was nice to have all the extra guidance through the legal part as well.
Any questions, Derek?
Nope, I have none so far.
All right.
So what kind of timeline would you look at?
So Misty would help us do that. Usually, I mean, we could post it, I guess, in our action items, we can decide that, but as early as today, if we decide, and they already have our brochure that we did from last time, so we can just make sure that it still looks good. If there's any data or anything that we want to change in it, so that's ready to go. We can decide how long we want to leave it open. And then they would just set up, usually they have like, okay, this takes 2 to 3 weeks, and they would go ahead and just schedule us out all of those meetings.
Okay,
So usually what happens if we choose to go with the ISBA, when we get down to the action items, we'll probably appoint someone who will work with Misty to set all that stuff up. They don't make decisions other than, so she doesn't have to bring the whole board together for like, does this pamphlet look okay? That person just okays it. And then we just go ahead and set the date so everyone can mark them on their calendar and know this is going to be a big meeting. This is what we're reviewing. And
okay,
so she can kind of walk through all that.
thank you.
Should we move to action items?
Yep.
First one up is the policy section 3000, student second reading and adoption, or possible adoption. We went through it last time. Do we have any?
No, it's the same policy that was before you at the December meeting, so it's just the second reading, and we would recommend waiving that third reading and just adopting tonight.
So, yeah, give it as much work as we've gone through.
It looks good. I honestly perused it all.
So I would entertain a motion to suspend the third reading and adopt policy section 3000.
So I make a motion that we adopt policy section 3000 and forego a third reading.
Is there a
I
second?
second it.
Was that a second? Was that a question?
No.
No, you seconded it.
Okay. Any more questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Second action, 7B, we did have a policy correction on 5330. I think we had 2 options in there that needed to, in the buildup of it, with the 2 options still in, and we're just cleaning it up. Is that correct, Kristen?
Yeah, there was just one paragraph in there that we meant to delete that was overlooked, and it is very contradictory to the paragraph. So, yep, we would recommend that you just adopt this change and waive the other 2 readings, since we did just review this policy in August.
So 2 paragraphs in the were contradictory because
Yeah.
for developing the choices in which way you want to go. The second paragraph was left in there, so we would look for a motion to accept this correction.
I make a motion that we accept the correction for policy 5330
And waive the other two
and waive
readings.
the other,
First and second reading.
the first and second reading and just adopt.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. The next action item is 7C, Families First Coronavirus Response. We have a recommendation from our superintendent.
Yep, so the FFCRA leave is what came about as a result of COVID-19 this last year. That act was set to expire December 31st of this last year, 2020. our recommendation is to go ahead and continue the paid sick leave portion of that act and discontinue the expanded FMLA portion of that act. Under the federal law, it was not extended, so it's now up to local entities to determine what to do with that leave. Since we're, operating in the fashion we are, we feel like it would really put our employees in a bad position to not have that sick leave available to them. So for anybody that's already exhausted it, they wouldn't get a new batch. It would just be for those that have not yet accessed it or haven't used all of it, that would still have access.
We still couldn't get the tax credit, right? I think I was trying to understand.
So the way we pay for that is through our CARES funding.
Okay,
And the recommendation would be just to extend it through March 31st, and then we would revisit it, pending what happens between now and then and what we're seeing with COVID. And then the recommendation at that time might be to extend it again or to go ahead and just let it expire.
well, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, give them time to get vaccines out to teachers.
Mm-hmm.
So this is covered by the CARES Act money. Well, I'll make a motion that we adopt the Families First Coronavirus Response Act and extend it through March 31st, 2021.
I'll second.
I second it.
Did I need to say in that motion to let the extended sick leave go?
Yeah, so
Okay.
if you would make the motion to extend the FFCRA
FFCRA.
paid sick leave, but eliminate the extended FMLA.
Okay, I would like to amend my motion to read that I move that we extend and continue the FFCRA sick leave until March 31st of 2021, but discontinue the
FMLA.
FLMA,
Extended FMLA.
extended FLMA. That was covered
I
under.
second it.
FFCRA.
Any more discussion?
No, it's a good thing.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 All right,
Aye, motion carries 4-0. The next action item is the high school activities plan that was released by the governor. They're quite detailed plans, expanding to 12 feet because of yelling and cheering. It gave specific numbers to how many parents could be, how many participants could be. At the same hand, it's only specific to high school. I've made several calls to ISBA and to the governor's office, and right now they're not comfortable expanding that beyond. They're working on a middle school plan. They're working on, I think, a dance team type plan. And so the governor has been going to roll that out. I know the legislatures possibly could get involved in the coming weeks as well. So at this point in time, the only recommendation we have that's by the governor that's approved is this plan for high school attendance. And it's just attached for winter sports. They've had discussions of, there's penalties in there if you don't follow the guidelines, possibly not making district playoffs or state playoffs. So they have different schools operating under different plans, for lack of a better word. So we just wanted to go ahead and share this with you, verify that we're going to operate under this plan, and let Andy and Brian implement it at high school. So I will accept the motion to accept it. We're going to have some discussion.
So I make a motion that we accept the governor's recommendation for the high school athletic plan.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? Questions? None seeing. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Our next action item was a request from the MEA to release our survey results, the board survey results took from the teachers. And we had discussed, I think we're gonna review them tonight, but I think we could just potentially just release our survey results to the MEA without having to say we've gone through and gave them a review. I don't know what the board's comfortable with, but it's just easier to share it or give a report, or what you guys think is.
I think they can go through the staff survey. I'm comfortable. I am not comfortable releasing the superintendent ones.
Yeah, I was gonna
because
say,
that was part of the evaluation, but the staff one, I mean, they're the ones who answered those questions, so definitely think that they should have access. So there was nothing in there. There was no identifying names or anything in there as far as who wrote what. So I think it's fine to release.
Entertain a
I
motion.
would agree.
So I make a motion that we release the staff survey results, the board's staff survey results to the MEA.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries 4-0.
So do you want me to just send those to
Yeah,
Dave
just Dave, yeah,
Stacy?
just-
Okay.
You can just add them as a collaborator.
Okay.
The results.
And then he can see all the stuff on there. Okay, I will take care of that shortly.
The next action item is the ACT participation waiver.
So also COVID related, the State Board of Education waived the graduation requirement for a college entrance exam. So in regards to the SAT or the ACT for the graduating class of 21, and we would just like to follow suit and also waive that requirement, but students will still have the opportunity to take it if they wish to do so. And I think we're set up to do that on April 13th.
So the motion would be, we follow state guidelines, state.
Yeah, are you going to say,
Just to waive the requirements
Yeah.
for the,
a
Waive
motion to
requirements,
waive the
yes.
requirements
Yes.
for a college entrance exam for the 21 graduating class?
so I make a motion that we waive the requirement for the SAT or ACT participation for the graduating class of 2021.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All right.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0.
Interesting how they determine scholarships for college. Sometimes your ACT helps.
Our last action item tonight is to follow up on our discussion item on the superintendent search process. Alicia shared with us ISBA's brochure and what that process is. Last time we signed up for the full meal deal. It sounded like it was a suggestion from the ISBA that we do it in stages this time, so we get that first piece taken care of, unless we wanted to take the whole process in ourselves, which I personally would want help legally.
I think we'd be very, very wise to take Misty's recommendation and at least go through the first four steps. We've got some credit, $1,700, so about half of it, roughly a little over half of it. But I think with their expertise and what they did for us in the past, I think we would be very wise to take advantage of that again, at least for the first four steps, and then reevaluate at that point.
I agree.
Okay. Is there anyone that's interested in being in contact with Misty to kind of set all those dates and timelines and take care of all that stuff? Or anyone that absolutely does not want to do that? Or doesn't have time, I guess?
I don't.
Well,
Do you want to do that, Pam? Is that if you're busy, that's fine.
you started it.
Well, that doesn't mean that I need to
I think-
do it. I just,
But you're busy too.
well, no, I'm willing to do it, but I just wanted to put out there, if you want to learn or someone else wants to, that's fine. If not, I can just follow up with her and just
I'm
keep
okay
going.
if you follow up with her and
Okay.
Alicia, weren't you the go-to previously?
Mary Ann and I did it together last year.
Okay.
She did parts
I
of it.
mean,
I did parts of it.
think
I would
the
help
experience
you.
you've had in it from the previous time and stuff like that, why rock the boat unless
Okay,
you
yeah.
absolutely don't want to do it?
No, I can do that. That's fine.
I would help you. I just would be a little bit
I think it'd be a good chance to
learn.
cross-train, learn and see.
Yeah,
if
I'm okay
work
with that.
the SBA and the two of you work together and,
Yep,
Okay, so I guess the motion just needs to be that we appoint the two of us to be contacts for Misty going forward, and that we're gonna use the ISBA at least until stage 4 and apply that credit to that cost so that we make sure we cover that, and then we'll reevaluate at that point and see where we're at.
is that your official motion?
I will make an official motion that myself and Pam will be contacts for the ISBA, and we would like to use their service at least until stage 4 to begin our superintendent search. That shall open today, do we need to say that today? Sorry, pause motion. I should have asked that.
Yeah, I think we need to have a start date.
So
Yeah.
when, I just don't know if I said that with Misty or if we decide that, like, as of today, it's open, go ahead and announce it.
I think you and Misty set the date that it's officially open,
Okay,
because they put this whole schedule together.
the sooner the better though, right?
We know it's open, so I guess it.
Okay. so yeah,
Can we make an agenda, or can we make a motion that tonight we've approved this and adopted this, but leave it up to Alicia, Misty, and Pam to determine what the start date should be?
so just as soon as possible, can we say that?
Right.
Or as soon as,
Yeah, I
you
think
know, like, within reason?
I think to stay within bounds, we should go ahead and just say it's open now, because we can take a board vote on that with the
Mhm.
forum.
Okay,
And then the actual X's and O's will be worked out with Misty, so that way the board doesn't have to come back together to officially
okay,
open it.
that makes sense.
So
Agreed.
Okay, would you like me to restate that motion for you?
Thank you.
Okay, I make a motion that we will begin our superintendent search process using the Idaho School Board Association up to phase 4 and apply our credit to that cost. And that Pam and I will be working with them and we'll declare that position open immediately.
I second.
I second it.
any more discussion? None seeing. I call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I,
All right.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. I would take a motion to adjourn. Accept the motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All right.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. Thanks, everyone.